Hey, hi guys. I am Samuel Cross and I stutter. If I make any mistakes, pardon me. I know you are tired. I don't mean a kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. I mean the kind of tired that sits deep in your bones. The kind that makes you wonder if you have anything left to give. The kind that makes you question whether any of this, the praying, the hoping, the believing, is even worth it anymore. Maybe you have been praying about something for months. Maybe years, and nothing has changed. Maybe you have been asking God for direction, and the only thing you hear back is silence. Maybe you have watched other people's lives move forward while yours feels like it's been standing still for longer than you can remember. Maybe you are dealing with financial pressure that keeps you up at night. I want you to hear something today. Not a formula, not a 3-step plan to fix everything. Not a sermon with points and subpoints. I just want you to hear someone say, I see you, I hear you, and you are not alone. I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people don't talk about enough. Sometimes we reach a point where we don't know how much longer we can keep going. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's just this quiet exhaustion that settles in over time. One day you wake up and you realize you have been running on empty for longer than you want to admit. And you start asking yourself questions. What's the point? Does God even see me? Does God even care? Is this ever going to change? Am I just wasting my time? I know those questions. I have asked them myself. And if you are asking them today, I want you to know something. God is not afraid of your questions. God is not threatened by your doubt. God is not offended by your exhaustion. You don't have to have it all together to come on Him. You don't have to pretend that everything is fine when it's not. You can come to Him broken, confused, angry, empty. He can handle all of it. Here's what I want you to understand. Sometimes when we are in the middle of a painful season, we start to really believe that the way things are right now is the way things will always be, and that is a lie. It is one of the most dangerous lies you can believe, because when you believe that your current circumstances are permanent, you you start acting like your current circumstances are permanent. You stop hoping. You stop praying. You stop believing. You stop taking steps forward. You just give up. But here's the truth. Your current situation is not the end of your story. It's a chapter, not the whole book. And you cannot judge the ending of a book by reading one difficult chapter. You are still in the middle of something, and the middle is often the hardest part. Think about this for a moment. You are not the only person in the Bible who went through a season of waiting. You are not the only person who prayed and they didn't see an immediate answer. You are not the only person who felt abandoned by God. You are not the only person who questioned whether God still cared. David wrote Psalms while he was running for his life, hiding in caves, wondering if God has forgotten him. He wrote things like, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" That's in the Bible. That's honest. That's raw. And God didn't strike David down for asking that question. David was honest with God about how he felt. and God honored that honesty. Joseph spent years in slavery and years in prison before he saw God's purpose for his life. He did not know why he was suffering. He did not know how any of it could possibly work out for good, but he kept trusting God, not because he could see the future or he understand what God was doing. He kept trusting God because he knew that God was faithful. Even when everything around him seemed to be falling apart. Job lost everything: his children, his wealth, his health, and he sat in ashes and wept. And even in the middle of all that, he said, though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. And God didn't abandon Job. God didn't forget Job. God was with Job even when Job couldn't feel him. Here is something I want you to hold on to. God is not obligated to explain himself to you. That sounds harsh, but it's actually freeing. Think about it. If God had to explain everything he was doing, you wouldn't understand it anyway. He is God and you are not. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are his ways higher than ours, and his thoughts than our thoughts. That is not God being mean. That is God being God. And here's the thing. You don't need to understand everything God is doing to trust that He is good. You don't need to have all the answers to keep going. You only need enough faith to take the next step, one step at a time. One day at a time. I need to say something that I think a lot of Christians don't hear enough. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be exhausted. You are allowed to have questions. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to cry. Faith does not mean pretending everything is fine. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is moving forward in spite of doubt. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is trusting God in the middle of fear. Some of the strongest people of faith in the Bible were also some of the most honest about their struggles. Every wrote Psalms about being so exhausted that he couldn't even find the words to pray. Elijah, who was so discouraged after a major victory that he asked God to take his life. Jeremiah wrote entire books about his suffering and his questions. Paul talked talked about being so overwhelmed that he despaired of life itself.